Hey there, friend, yes, you, the one watching this right now with tired eyes, maybe a heavy heart, wondering if life still has room for miracles. If you've ever felt invisible, like the world keeps knocking you down and no one notices, stay with me. Because right now, in the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you a true-to-the-soul story that proves one ordinary scream can rewrite two broken lives forever. Don't click away. This one's for you. Lean in. Let it hit your heart. In the sleepy town of Willow Creek, where the only thing louder than the crickets was the clank of wrenches, lived Ethan Rivers. 38 years old, hands scarred from years of fixing engines and fixing hearts that never quite healed. He was a single dad to 8-year-old Liam, a bright-eyed boy who still asked every night why mommy's side of the bed stayed empty. Ethan had been a Navy SEAL once, elite, fearless, the guy who ran toward explosions while others ran away. But after his wife Sarah died in a drunk driving accident 5 years earlier, something inside him shattered. He traded his uniform for grease-stained overalls, opened a tiny auto shop on the edge of town, and swore he'd never use those deadly skills again. "I'm done saving the world," he told his reflection every morning. "I just need to save my son." Life was a quiet war of its own. Morning started before dawn, packing Liam's lunch, checking homework, kissing his forehead with the same gentleness he once used to clear rooms in war zones. Then came 12-hour shifts under cars that paid just enough to keep the lights on and the nightmares at bay. Ethan never complained. He smiled for Liam, laughed at silly jokes, and hid the way his hands still trembled when he heard sirens. The town called him the quiet hero, but Ethan felt like anything but. He felt tired. Invisible. Until that rainy Thursday night in the city parking garage. He'd driven 2 hours to pick up a rare engine part for a customer, money he desperately needed for Liam's upcoming school trip. As he loaded the heavy box into his old pickup, a piercing scream ripped through the concrete levels above him. "Help! Somebody! They're hurting my mom! Help my mom, they beat her!" The voice was small, desperate, terrified. A child's voice. Ethan's body moved before his mind caught up. SEAL instincts, buried but never gone, flooded back like lightning. He sprinted up the ramp, boots pounding, heart hammering. Around the corner, under flickering fluorescent lights, he saw them, 3 masked men in black, fists and boots flying into a woman crumpled on the ground. Blood stained her designer coat. A little girl, maybe 10, clung to her mother's leg, sobbing, trying to shield her with her tiny body. One attacker raised a crowbar for a final blow. Ethan didn't shout a warning. He didn't hesitate. In 3 seconds he became the man he swore he'd left behind. First strike, elbow to the throat of the closest thug, dropping him instantly. Second, grabbed the crowbar mid-swing, twisted, and sent its owner crashing into a concrete pillar. The third man pulled a knife. Ethan disarmed him with a wrist lock that cracked bone, then drove a knee into his ribs until the man gasped for mercy. It was over in under 30 seconds. The attackers lay moaning, unconscious or wishing they were. Ethan's knuckles bled, but he didn't feel it. He dropped to his knees beside the woman. Her face was swollen, one eye already closing, yet even through the blood and tears she was breathtaking, high cheekbones, fierce green eyes that refused to look defeated. "Ma'am, stay with me," he whispered, voice steady like the calm before every mission he'd ever led. "You're safe now." The little girl threw herself into Ethan's arms. "You saved her. You saved my mommy," she cried, tiny fists clutching his grease-stained shirt like he was Superman. The woman, Sophia Langford, though he didn't know her name yet, reached out a trembling hand and touched his cheek. "Thank you," she whispered, voice cracking. I thought that was it." Sirens wailed in the distance. Someone had called the police. Ethan stayed until the ambulance arrived, holding Sophia's hand the whole time, telling her silly stories about Liam to keep her awake. He didn't ask who she was. He didn't care about the designer bag or the luxury car nearby. He only cared that a mother and her daughter were breathing because he'd chosen, one more time, to run toward the scream instead of away from it. When the paramedics loaded Sophia onto the stretcher, she grabbed his wrist with surprising strength. "What's your name?" "Ethan. Ethan Rivers. Ethan. I won't forget this. I promise." He smiled sadly, already stepping back into the shadows. "Just get better for your little girl, ma'am. That's all the thanks I need." Then he disappeared into the rain before anyone could ask for his number, his address, or his story. Back to Willow Creek. Back to being invisible. But fate, as it turns out, had other plans. 2 weeks later, Ethan was under a rusted Chevy when the shop bell jingled. He slid out, wiping grease on his jeans, and froze. There she stood, Sophia Langford, in a simple white blouse and jeans that somehow still looked expensive, face healed but eyes carrying new softness. Beside her was little Ava, clutching a handmade card. Behind them, a sleek black SUV idled outside. "You're not easy to find, Ethan Rivers," Sophia said, voice warm like sunlight after storm. Ava ran straight to him and hugged his legs. You're my hero, she declared. Ethan laughed awkwardly, rubbing the back of his neck. Ma'am, I was just in the right place. Stop, Sophia interrupted gently. You saved my life. Those men, they were sent by my ex-husband. He didn't want to lose the company in the divorce. You didn't just stop a beating, you stopped my ending. She stepped closer. I'm Sophia Langford, CEO of Langford Dynamics. And I owe you everything. What followed felt like a dream Ethan never dared to dream. Sophia refused to let him stay invisible. She paid off every debt on his shop. She flew Liam and Ethan to the city for weekends so the kids could play. Liam and Ava became instant best friends, building forts and sharing secrets like they'd known each other forever. But the real miracle happened in the quiet moments. Late-night talks on Sophia's rooftop garden, where Ethan admitted how much he missed being the man who protected people, and Sophia confessed how lonely it was at the top, how power couldn't fill the hole left by a loveless marriage. She saw the father in him, the warrior, the gentle soul who fixed broken things without asking for praise. He saw the fighter in her, the woman who built an empire from nothing yet still cried watching her daughter sleep. Challenges came, of course. Ethan's pride screamed that he was just a small-town mechanic. How could he ever belong in her glittering world? Board members whispered that Sophia was slumming it. Liam had nightmares that Sophia would take his dad away. And once, the ex-husband's remaining thugs tried one last scare, until Ethan, with Sophia's quiet support, made sure they understood the Navy SEAL never truly retired. But love, real love, doesn't run from challenges. One evening, as golden hour painted the garage where they first met, Sophia took Ethan's scarred hands in hers. You ran toward my scream when the whole world looked away, she whispered. Let me run toward your heart now. He kissed her then, soft, certain, like coming home after every war. 6 months later, in a simple backyard ceremony surrounded by wrenches turned into flower vases and 2 giggling children as ring-bearers, Ethan and Sophia said, I do. The single dad mechanic and the millionaire CEO didn't just blend families, they healed each other. Liam finally had a mom who cheered louder than anyone at his soccer games. Ava had a dad who taught her how to change a tire and how to never be afraid of the dark. And Ethan. Ethan remembered he was still a hero, not because of what he could destroy, but because of what he chose to protect every single day. So here's the message I promised you, friend, the one I need you to carry when this video ends. You don't need a cape. You don't need millions. You just need to listen for the scream, your own or someone else's, and choose to run toward it. Whether you're fixing cars, raising kids alone, climbing corporate ladders, or just trying to survive another day, your ordinary courage can become someone else's miracle. Love doesn't care about bank accounts or battle scars. It only cares that you showed up. If this story moved you even a little, do one thing for me, right now. Text someone who needs to hear they're not invisible. Tell them they matter. Because somewhere out there, a single dad, a scared mom, or a lonely child is waiting for their hero. And maybe, just maybe, that hero is you. Thank you for staying till the end. You just made the world a little kinder. Now go be someone's miracle. I believe in you.